coaching is because it is what it says on the tin. The next part of the module is life-changing, to say the least. And I say it's life-changing because as powerful a process that we have just done previously, when we link it into breaking through in different areas of our life, it is a powerful cocktail, a powerful mix where we can identify exactly what it is that we want to change, how we're going to change that through doing our modelling process, and working out a roadmap of how we're going to get to where we want to get to. To use an analogy, I was with a client a week or so ago, and I put it in layman's terms for him about how important it was to set goals and to know where he was going. And through our journey with this client, it's been an interesting journey, because initially it was quite reserved and apprehensive about what I had to offer, because it was brought to me by a second party, until eventually we concluded our journey through our coaching program, so much so that he decided he wants to carry on doing that. And I felt really we've gone as far as we can for now, but we'll carry on at a later date as and when we feel necessary. But the interesting thing was, the analogy I used to him said, okay, if you were to get into your car and drive wherever it is for you to go afterwards, let's say you had a new destination, you weren't going home. If you had a map to get there, you've got a better chance of getting there if you just got in and thought, well, I'll go on the motorway, I'll see if I can find my way. If you've got a sat nav that works, all the more, you've got an even better chance. And our mind is like a sat nav, really. We don't need to know how the sat nav works. We don't need to. All we need to know is how to program it. You don't need to know how your mobile phone works. All you need to know is what digits to press to make a call or send a text or whatever else people use their phones these days for. Okay, so the key is that we need to know, and through breakthrough coaching we can understand where it is that we want to get to, and importantly and significantly how to smash any limiting beliefs that get along the way, if you choose to want to break them down. How to understand what is the thought behind the thought, what exactly that you want. And the process we'll be working on, so you've got a little bit of homework to do between now and the next module, okay? But the process is very powerful and unique. I will start the process on what we have been working on throughout the day. When you think of what you said you wanted, okay? When you said you had an idea of what you wanted, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say you are in achieving what you want? What would you say? 10 being there and 1 being further away. Anybody?
1.
Okay, 1. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, anybody else?
5.
5. Okay.
I think mine's changed from before we did that last process to now. So I think there's a realisation that you're not actually that far away.
Okay.
Before I'd have said probably 3, but
Okay.
now I'll say, after doing that process, I'll probably say it's 6, 7.
Okay, that's interesting. And after doing that process, it can have an adverse effect as well. You can think you're there, and then you think, well, I'm actually further. It can have either or you obviously identify where you are. Anybody else in terms of their scale?
I would say probably about 6.
6.
I think I'm 6.
Okay. Okay. Now, sorry.
7.
7. Okay. Was that for the?
No, this was we did success, but then we came down to.
Okay, so you broke it down. Sure. Okay. 7. Okay. For what it is that you were aiming for.
Yeah.
Now we could do one or two things here. Okay. One or two things we can do. We can apply all our efforts and attention on getting that to where we want it to get to. Okay. And each of it, every one of you had different wants. Okay. Different aspects of your life, if I recall correctly. You can put all your attentions, okay, on getting it to a 10. And if you did that, what would happen to other aspects of your life?
You'd suffer.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially, definitely. Okay. And then if they're suffering, what's your normal reaction?
Should run to them.
Yeah,
You run to them.
Yeah, you feel like you're losing.
one side of the road and one on the other, and you run across to put that one there out, and then you put that out, and then you run across to the other one, you put that out, and then you run across. What's that? It's reactive, isn't it, rather than being proactive, okay? But if we come up with an idea where we can put both fires out at the same time, or any other that started up, okay, we're being innovative, we're being proactive. Now, when the breakthrough coaching session comes in, is first of all, we work out through doing that process of logical levels what we want, okay? What is it exactly that we want to have, okay? Not trawling through these social networking sites and seeing other people doing certain things. That looks like a good idea. I think I've had a bit of that myself. And then doing it and thinking, actually, it's not for me. No, what do you want? Asking yourself, okay? You know, looking at yourself in the mirror saying, well, what exactly do I want for me? Okay, not what I think might be a good idea, not what, whoever has come into our life decides that could be a good idea. Exactly what we want, based on the values of who we know we are, okay? And then we can start pushing forward. Now, then, when we, and I use sporting analogies because sport, as we talked throughout the day, success is very marginal, and there's no hiding place, okay? You're out there on Saturday afternoon, it's 11 versus 11, and what you've done throughout the week and before there will show up. There's no hiding place. If you have neglected any aspect of your performance, you're going to be found out, okay? And when we profile an athlete, we profile them in various capacities: technique, tactic, fitness, ability psychologically to cope with demands. All these things come into it, and we decide, okay, where are you at these different elements? And also life, as it is, as we know it, because life has a knock-on effect. If you're struggling in your personal life, then it could affect your performance as a sports person on Saturday. All these things come into it, okay? Now, hence that wonderful golfer. Exactly. It had an impact, didn't it? He went from being the world, above and beyond the world's best to, into the oblivion, really. And what did he do different? What was he doing different?
Who's that?
Mr. Woods. Other than all that sort of stuff, if you believe what the papers say was going on in his personal life, he wasn't really doing a great deal different, but it was having an impact, okay? And if you're not dealing with it, you're doing what we said before. You're kind of running over to put one fire out and the other one's sort of like, so which one do you manage first? So what we do is we manage, okay? We manage a process. Now, what is important to you in life? What's important? Because that could determine how much time you spend in various areas. Okay, that could be a determining factor. It might not. But I would suggest it would be, because if one thing is very significant and very important to you, and you spend more time doing something that's not important to you, then you're fighting a losing battle, really. Yet, that said, priorities change in life. Now, what is important to you in life? What?
It's interesting you say that, because we were talking about starting your own business at lunchtime, and I was like, I don't want to at the moment. I do want to, but I'm not. And people are like, oh, just do it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just do it, because actually what's important to me right now is spending time with my friends and having a really good time.
Yes.
And just, I suppose being a bit self-indulgent and selfish, but that's actually a bit important to me right now. And I know that the right time will come where my focus will change, because you can't carry on. It's just because it's summer and it's nice, doing some things at the moment. But I'm quite aware of that, and I know I'm taking the steps I need to take to get to where I want to go. But I don't feel any need for it to be like bang, 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 it must happen now, because that's not where my focus is.
Which is fine. And if we track back to what you said before, you mentioned the word selfish and whatever. You don't have to please anybody else other than yourself in this world. Your priority is to sort your own back garden out, not to try and sort everybody else's back garden. How you decide to live your life is up to you. Your choice. You decide. Your call. Okay? And what you decide to do, and you've got an obligation to go out there and do anything for anybody else other than what you feel comfortable with. Now, in the case of Esme there, who's kindly sort of shared her experience, which relates to what we're doing, if Esme was heeding the advice of people who say she should go out there and start this business based on their mindset, then she'd probably be in on Friday night and Saturday night and do business. Exactly.
The crappiest business. Here's my business card. There's nothing behind it.
Exactly. So how would she feel? How would you feel? How would you feel at on Saturday night and you were,
Gutted.
would she apply herself to this business?
No, I'd be at home on Facebook trying to find out what was going on.
Exactly, there we go. So I guess we prioritise working on the areas that are important to us. That said, it's in the backbone, it's there. So you can still initiate a process towards developing it. How much of your time and how you decide to do that is up to you. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. Okay. Sometimes we can over try. We can try too hard. Sometimes things materialise. We just step back a little bit. Okay. An athletics coach that I had years ago when I was training said to me, sometimes less is more. Maybe you're just trying a little bit too hard. I kept coming down with these silly injuries. He said, well, maybe you want to hold back and decide what you want, what times you want to run, how quick you want to go, where you need to prioritise your improvements. And I thought, actually, he's right. You know, he made a good point. And I started really developing in leaps and bounds. So the same process is in life. So we looked at what's important to us. So what is really important to us? What's significant to us? As I mentioned, relationships, friendships. What else is important to us?
Family, children.
Okay, family. Anything else is important to us? Anything else?
Security.
Okay, security.
And again, that's probably another reason that I'm not in the place to kind of make that massive leap to working my own, because I'm in a secure job at the moment. And
Okay.
that's, I kind of like that.
Okay, anything else that's important to us?
Love.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Health.
Health.
Everybody health.
Okay, anything else that comes into
So
it?
we do need a means of money, don't we, or
Okay.
monetary
Career.
finances.
So that could come in the bracket of career or security.
And learning, so having the experiences and
Growth,
learning.
yeah.
That definitely came out a lot in what you were talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Isn't it interesting how everything that we sort of suggested that's important here falls into line with what we said yesterday about being our basic human needs? It's what we need. And it just falls into line with that. Now, in a breakthrough session, okay, and we'll add to this as we go along, in a breakthrough session, it's important for us to stop and think about where we are. Okay, have you ever been pursuing something, a goal or whatever else, and you've just been going and going and going and going, think, I don't know if I'm getting any closer, I don't know where I am, I don't know what's going on, you get frustrated, you know, banging your head against the wall type thing. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to get an understanding of where we are. How do we quantify that? How can we quantify these areas? How are they quantifiable? I can quantify a physiological effort. I can say to you, if you run 100 metres in 10 seconds, and if you do it in 9.9 in a month, you're getting quicker. How can we quantify these?
Just quantify and break it down.
What? How can we quantify the value?
No, I mean the word quantify, does that
Measure
mean break
Measure.
it down? Measure. Right.
Measure. How can we quantify it? How can we quantify these? If you're working with a client.
The results, isn't it? What the results?
Outcome.
Okay,
the
yeah,
outcomes,
yeah, yeah.
outcomes.
The outcome is one thing, okay, that's one way of quantifying it, okay. Yeah, in saying that, as I mentioned before, that she's got priorities in different areas of life, and so I guess with everybody else, so everybody would quantify it in a different way. So what is important is to find out what the person would quantify as being successful, or near enough on a scale of 1 to 10 at 10 to them and where they are.
Yeah.
And only they can quantify that, because a successful being a successful golfer would be different to Martin, to Tiger Woods, and to someone who's just starting out. Okay? Successful season in golf to Tiger Woods would be to win an Open. To Martin would be to play on single figures. To someone starting out would be to learn specific techniques, and the same applies to everything in our life. Okay, we're all